There are moments when a state stands still, when the noise of everyday life gives way to something quieter, heavier, sacred. This is one of those moments. 3 airmen, 3 sons, 3 stories of service and sacrifice coming home. Captain Curtis Angst, Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons of Columbus, Captain Seth Koval. They were among 6 Americans lost thousands of miles away in the darkness of a mission over Iraq when a refueling aircraft never made it back. Today, they return as heroes carried home, back to Ohio, back to families who have waded through unimaginable pain, to communities now bound together in grief and in gratitude. At Rickenbacker, the runway quiet with the weight of arrival, a flag-draped transfer, a final journey, witnessed not by crowds, but by those who love them most. This moment about sacrifice. It's about lives lived in service to something greater, and the empty spaces they leave behind. 3 airmen who answered the call, who wore the uniform with honor, who are finally coming home. As Ohio receives them, we remember freedom is not free. It's carried by names, by faces, by families, and by the brave who never made it back until now. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this ABC 6 News special as we honor the lives of Captain Seth Koval, Captain Curtis Angst, and Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons. All are returning home today. The 3 airmen were killed in a refueling crash in Iraq as they were helping to support Operation Epic Fury. They were stationed at Rickenbacker Air Force Base. They've made the journey back home after making the ultimate sacrifice in service to the country. This afternoon, we're on your side with live team coverage following that procession that will take these 3 heroes back to their communities. We're also remembering who these men were and honoring their service to the country. These men were members of an air refueling wing based out of Rickenbacker Base, but they were more than that. They were sons, husbands, fathers, and beloved community members. For the family of Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons, there is no way to measure the loss. Not in words, not in time, not in the quiet moments that now feel far too loud. A son, a grandson, a cousin, a best friend. Just 28 years old and already a life that touched so many, now reduced to memories that came far too soon. Tyler Simmons wasn't just serving overseas, he was doing what he loved. A boom operator trusted with the critical job of keeping other aircraft and other service members in the air. On March 12th, during a mission over Iraq, the air tanker he was aboard went down. 6 Americans killed, and just like that, everything changed. But for Tyler's family, this story doesn't begin with tragedy. It begins with a phone call just one day before the crash.
He called me on Wednesday, and we were able to talk to him on Wednesday. I was over here, and we actually had beautiful conversation. I was like, well, Tyler, how are you? He said, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
A mother hearing her son's voice, not knowing it would be the last time.
I remember the last thing I told him, just be alert, stay alert, keep your focus on what you're doing. And he said, oh yeah, Nana, I am.
The kind of exchange families have every day until one day they don't. At Eastmore Academy, Tyler was the kind of person you don't forget. A leader, an athlete, a smile that could shift the mood of an entire room.
If you're having a bad day and you're around him, you're now going to be a happy person.
He was brave. He had true courage. And he really did die a hero.
But the deepest loss lives inside the people who knew him simply as Tyler. And now his father, Milo, holds on to the moments that matter most.
He was amazing. He loved life. He was very driven. If he could think it, He could do it. And I think one of the things that really defined him was his infectious smile.
For his family, the grief is in the everyday things, the calls that won't come, the laughter that won't echo, the hugs that will never be held again.
He just wanted to do amazing things because he's an amazing man.
He called me his bestie. He called me his bestie. We were really close. He would talk to me about stuff he wouldn't talk to his mom about.
And yet, through the heartbreak, there is something unshakable, a legacy, a young man from Columbus who chose service, who lifted others, who lived with kindness, faith, and purpose. In 28 years, Tyler Simmons didn't just dream about making an impact. He did. His story doesn't end here. It lives on in every life he touched, every smile he inspired, and every person who will never forget his name. Tyler Simmons, son, hero, forever remembered. The loss of Captain Curtis Angst having a profound impact on his hometown of Wilmington down in Clinton County. The 30-year-old graduated from the University of Cincinnati with a degree in engineering. He joined the military back in 2015. The town's mayor says they will find a way to remember him as soon as they have the family's blessing.
We'd want to do something meaningful because it's certainly unique to Wilmington, such a tragedy that touched so many lives here. It touches, hearts of those of us who live here. It's a very sad thing and sad news.
The sacrifice that he made and what he did to serve our country should never be forgotten.
Captain Angst was married just about a year ago. He is survived by his wife, his parents, and his little sister. 38-year-old Captain Seth Koval had been serving his country since 2006 when he enlisted in the Indiana Air National Guard. The Indiana native was a seasoned combat pilot who had been deployed 5 times. In his career, he logged over 2,000 flight hours, including 443 combat hours. His wife released a statement on Facebook saying in part, Seth was exceptional at everything he did. He truly was the most amazing husband, father, son, brother, friend, and airman. He loved what he did, and he was proud to put his uniform on and serve others. She added he grew up dreaming of becoming a pilot, and that standing beside him as he made his dreams come true was an honor. The 3 air-based airmen were among the 6 killed in a crash in Iraq supporting Operation Epic Fury in Iran. The 3 others killed 33-year-old Major John Kleiner, 31-year-old Captain Ariana Savino, and Technical Sergeant Ashley Pruitt. They were assigned to the Air Refueling Wing out of MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida, but served day-to-day operations at Sumter Smith in Birmingham, Alabama. The 6 of them were in a KC-135. U.S. Central Command says the crash followed an incident in friendly airspace and that the other aircraft landed safely. An investigation into what caused that crash is still underway. And the journey home for these 6 heroes began last Wednesday, March 18th. That's when they were honored with a dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base. President Trump and other top leaders were on hand to honor these heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice. And right now, we're waiting for the 3 heroes stationed at Rickenbacker to make their final journey home. Kirsten Lindquist is live along Alum Creek, where that procession for Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons is expected to start shortly. And Kirsten, what exactly are you seeing out there right now?
Rodney, the American flag waves high over Obetz on this somber afternoon. Folks are lining the streets ready to take part in this procession to pay their respects to those fallen airmen. I'm going to step out of frame just so you can see, again, that flag hanging high over this overpass here. Again, we are still waiting for traffic to be shut down in this area. You can still see the cars are moving here, but there are agencies from all across Central Ohio, Obetz Police, Gahanna, Whitehall, State Highway Patrol, and just so many people wanting to pay their respects. You know, they always talk about the police force being a brotherhood, but the military as well, just the vast brotherhood that exists no matter what branch that you serve in. I spoke to a gentleman who served in the Marine Corps and whose daughter was a friend of Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons. He tells me he made a point to come out here to pay his respects, not just because his family personally knew that family, but again, just because he is a service member himself. This is what you do for those fallen brothers, those ones that you love. Again, these young men, when you have these conversations with the Gold Star families, they're more than just the courageous, brave airmen who put on that uniform. They are brothers, fathers, sons, cousins, friends, and deeply impactful members of communities just like this, who again now are having a very somber day. We will keep you updated as this procession goes on. For now, on your side in Obetz, I'm Kirsten Lindquist, live for ABC 6 News.
All right, thank you for that report, Kirsten. And here's a look at the final journey for Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons. That procession will begin at Rickenbacker and head up Allen Creek Drive. From there, they will get on 270 before heading to that funeral home along East Livingston Avenue. And here's a live look at 270 near Livingston Avenue exit near that funeral home. This is where we're expecting that procession to exit the highway on its way to the funeral home. And here's a live look now at that funeral home. As you can see, plenty of people starting to gather there, hundreds in fact, a lot of folks wanting to come there to pay their respects and honor someone who gave their life and sacrifice to the country. Now at this time, we still don't know the exact arrangements planned for Master Sergeant Simmons. That's something that is set to come, but based on the impact that he had on so many people here and what we're seeing just today, we're expecting that turnout to be large when it happens. Veteran advocate groups right here in Central Ohio are working to ensure the legacy of the 3 Ohio National Guard members killed in Iraq will live on. The Whitehall VFW chapter set aside a relief fund that will go directly to the families of those airmen. Rickenbacker Military Families is another organization helping out. The nonprofit was founded back in 2009 to support programs and airmen at Rickenbacker Air National Guard Base. Its memorial fund has already reached more than $10,000. It will go directly to impact those families.
We've done this willingly because we're doing this for the very people that are around us. We're making these sacrifices for the people. It's not just country, not just duty, it's for the people. Our charity has always been focused on supporting the airmen that are deployed and their families. So this is just kind of taking it to the next level, obviously, where it's a horrible loss, but it's what we've always been there to do.
And if you would like to donate, we have links to those organizations raising funds for the airmen's families over on our website. And we've also spoken with leaders with the Ohio National Guard. Aaron Simonek has the story of how the state is remembering these heroes.
It's a feeling you don't want. I was in Afghanistan in 2012 when we lost 3 of our service members. It brings back memories. It brings back tough times.
Adjutant General Matthew Woodruff proudly wearing the Zeus 95 call sign, honoring his fallen Ohio National Guardsmen killed during the air refueling crash in Iraq.
As an Army guy, it's unique for me to wear an air patch. That's not what we do. But to honor them, I felt it was important to make sure that we honor Tyler, Seth, and Curtis.
The leader of the Ohio National Guard, spending this past week with the 121st Air Refueling Wing and the families. Flying an air refueling jet, a complex task.
And the pilot's job is to fly the aircraft and make sure it's steady. And the boom operator is the individual probably with the toughest job, and that was Tyler. And that's lowering the boom so that aircraft can come up and receive fuel.
For General Woodruff, the mission continues.
As long as there are operations ongoing, the mission will continue and tankers will continue to fly. They're a tremendous asset for our national interests and national security.
Woodruff says once the crash investigation is complete, solutions are likely to be brought forward of how to prevent these scenarios.
Now, all eyes were on the dignified transfer across America. How was that experience for you, General?
I mean, it was hard. It's one of those solemn events that you don't want to have to go to, but honored to be able to be there for the families.
Woodruff describing the dignified transfer as humbling, difficult, and impactful.
One of the really humbling things about the dignified transfer was we had put a request in, if the families wanted to, that they could fly back with us on a KC-135 that we took out there. And they all came back with us. And I think that was probably a really good experience. I hope it was a good experience for them.
Woodruff emphasizing the fallen servicemen's family are being upheld with endless support.
You're part of our team. You're part of our family. And I really feel that way.
Preparations continue for a dignified arrival at Rickenbacker Airport in the next several weeks. On your side in Columbus, Aaron Simonek, ABC 6 News.
And we're going to send things back out now to Kirsten Lindquist, who is along that procession route this evening. And Kirsten, this is certainly an emotional day for so many people in this community.
Rodney, I don't think that can be understated. It's especially, I think, hard for our military families who are in attendance at this procession. I'm joined with Megan Campbell. Megan, you told me that your father is in the Navy or served in the Navy previously. Talk to me. This is such a brotherhood that military families experience. What exactly brought you out here today with your daughter?
Like I had told you, for us, it's always been that, like I told you, my dad was in the military, he was in the Navy. He's been gone from us now for 22 years. But we've always been raised that you honor those that are in the military, because without them, we wouldn't be able to live the way that we live. And we want to continue to make sure that we honor everyone that is in the military every day. And we need to make sure that we're also teaching every generation to do the same. And so for me, it was very important. We were on our way home from the store, and we knew that they were coming home, and we saw the flags up on the bridge up there, and we knew it was getting close to time. So I told my daughter, I said, it doesn't matter when, we know it's time, we're stopping. We're going to stop right now. And she said, really? And I said, yep. I said, we are going right now. I said, this is how we not only honor your grandfather, I said, but we're honoring all of those that serve and those that have lost their lives, because this is how we live the way we live.
Definitely echoing that freedom isn't necessarily free sentiment that I know a lot of folks share. What does it mean to you to see all of these other families and other community members here in Obetz coming out here to pay their respects?
For me, it means that we're not the only ones that actually remember that freedom isn't free, and that there are people that sacrifice not only the lives that are lost overseas when they go to war, but there are families that are here that have to suffer that loss and have to live with their family members overseas, and at least they acknowledge that.
I know it is a somber afternoon for a lot of folks. Do you have a message right now to the families of these airmen who are returning home?
Just thank you. My condolences to you for your loss, but please know that we love you. We're all here for you. We have you in our thoughts and our prayers. But as a member of the military families, we have the utmost honor and respect for you as well, because your family member did what our family member had done, and they gave up their life to serve our country, to give us what we have.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate it. Again, I can't understate that this is just a heavy day for a lot of folks, and so for you taking the time, I just commend you for your candor.
Thank you.
Again, for folks who are tuning in, this procession is set to start in the next few minutes. We are still waiting for traffic to be stopped here on Alum Creek Drive in Obetz. But again, agencies from all across central Ohio are already blocking off some of the side roads in this area for that procession to start. But once again, the American flag waves proudly over this community. These 3 Ohio airmen will certainly not be forgotten by this community who love them so dearly. On your side, I'm Kirsten Lindquist for ABC 6 News.
All right, thank you, Kirsten. Certainly emotional for a lot of folks. Let's take another look at the traffic cameras along I-270, where we're expecting that procession to take Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons. And here's a live look at the funeral home once again. At this time, we still don't know the exact arrangements that are planned for Master Sergeant Simmons, but a crowd is gathering there as they remember him. As you can see, those American flags that line the sidewalk there, and a number of people have also gathered there at that funeral home to remember him and to honor his life and legacy. And we're expecting some emotional moments at that funeral home as well. And as we leave you this afternoon, we do want to again thank these 3 airmen and their families for their service and sacrifice to this country, and they should know that their legacies will continue to live on. And we're going to leave you now with a live look at the American flag, which is flying proudly as we await the procession for Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons. We will take you back there live when it happens. Check, check, check. Mic check. Mic. Check, check, check. Mic check. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this ABC6 News special as we honor the lives of Captain Seth Koval, Captain Curtis Angst, and Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons. All are returning home today. The 3 airmen were killed in Iraq as they were helping to support Operation Epic Fury. They've made the journey back home after making the ultimate sacrifice in service to the country. Kirsten Lindquist is live along that procession route for us this afternoon. And Kirsten, this is certainly an emotional day for many people in this community.
Certainly, Rodney, we are seeing the motorcycles make their way down Alum Creek Drive as we speak, and folks have gathered along the sides of the roads to again pay their respects to these fallen airmen. You can see the motorcycles are coming down the street now, and again, these families just as a somber afternoon here in Obetz. A lot of folks who I spoke with earlier, just said this is what you do for your brothers in the military, no matter what branch you serve in, no matter if you yourself are currently serving, you come out here, you pay your respects to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And again, this roar of emotion now coming through as we are now seeing these motorcycles make their way down Alum Creek Drive, here in Obetz. A lot of folks are just, very somberly standing by, holding their phones and recording. There is a gentleman I see who is in uniform across the street with his young family. Again, as watching by as a brother in the military, again, makes his way back home. This is a very somber afternoon for many folks. I spoke to family members as we've gone through and done our coverage and speaking with these Gold Star families, and you just hear the heartbreak that they are going through as their family members are coming back home. And again, they're so much more than airmen. They are courageous young sons, fathers, brothers, cousins, irreplaceable members of their communities. Again, now being laid to rest here today as the hearse goes by here on Alum Creek Drive. Again, we are continuing our coverage and just talking with folks who are here. You can see those families lining those streets here, paying their respects along with other members of agencies from across Central Ohio.
And Kirsten, I just want to ask you, Kirsten, if you can hear me, I want to ask you a question. Just a few moments ago, you spoke with a woman whose father was actually in the military, and she spoke about that brotherhood. Kind of tell me about that. I know a lot of these people have personal stories because they have family members in the military, and to see these 3 service members, these 3 heroes honored in this community, what does it mean to them, to that woman that you spoke to be there today to actually honor and show their respects to these 3 service members?
I mean, Rodney, those individuals who have, military families, they tell me that this is just what you do. This is the kind of respects that you pay to your community members. This is just what you do for those folks who gave the ultimate sacrifice. They are the ones who tell me that freedom is not free. And it is these men and women who go out every day and put on that uniform, standing for our country, that they are the ones that make sure that we have our rights and liberties here in the United States to again share in all of the wonderful joys that we have here. For those military families, it is just a heartbreaking day for them because again, you never want to have to give the ultimate sacrifice, but they know the kind of pain, the suffering, the endurance that a lot of their own service members and their families have went through. So again, it's just a very heavy weight and a heavy burden that they carry as they go through this next chapter without those members by their side. Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons, Captain Seth Koval, and Captain Curtis Angst. Again, these folks just finally making the return home to Central Ohio. And again, these folks coming out here and showing their love and support for their brothers.
And I think the video behind you there, I think it helps to kind of paint the picture of how emotional this is. Obviously, those are family members following the hearse there, the procession following those motorcycles. And this is a really surreal time for a lot of folks. Obviously, not only for us covering this, but this entire family. You think about these 3 service members who gave so much to this community. Thank you for your reporting out there. Certainly an emotional day. Let's take a live look now at the funeral home. This is a time, at this point, we don't know the exact funeral arrangements, but The body of Master Sergeant Tyler Simmons will be brought there. Hundreds of people actually showing up to that funeral home to pay their respects. And his family remembering him as someone who will have a lasting impact on this community. At only 28 years old, the young man who grew up in Columbus and went on to star for Eastmoor Academy for their football team, playing quarterback. His family adds that Tyler dreamed of actually serving his country and making an impact on this world, something that he was certainly able to do. And you can see there those family members gathered to welcome him home, so to speak, waiting for that hearse. And I had the opportunity and the honor to speak with several of his family members. I spoke with his best friend. I spoke with his cousin, along with his mother and grandmother. And obviously, this is a very emotional time for this family, but they were so thankful just for the support that they've gotten from throughout the community. And you think that folks are going through so many things here, and I think that is the thing here, to see the support that they're getting from the community. You talk about faith and support, and for them, that's how they're going to get through this. Certainly an emotional day for not only this family, but for the families of the other two service members and everybody in this community, quite frankly, today. And as we leave you this afternoon, we do want to again thank those 3 airmen and their families for their service and sacrifice to this country. And they should know that their legacies will continue to live on. And as we leave you today, just those thoughts and prayers, obviously, for everyone involved in this. And if we can, just again, looking at those live pictures, emotional moments as those family members follow this procession as it heads to the funeral home this afternoon. And as we leave you this afternoon, obviously, you can always go to our website, abc6onyourside.com, for the latest information on this. And we will have the touching moments, video and sound this evening at 6 o'clock on ABC6 as well.